Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today we're going to be continuing part 3 of this video series, doing a crochet kit that I got from Five Below. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in, and for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we are going to be continuing doing Glinda from Wicked. So far, so cute. We got her feet, her legs, her body, her skirt, her head, her face done. And today we're going to be continuing with the arms, the hair, the crown, and then putting everything all together. So let's just set her aside for now, seeing as we don't really need her at the moment. But we're going to do the arms today. For this, we're going to need the skin tone color yarn. And yeah, let's get this started. So this video is only a supplement to the kit. If you want to make this project, I highly recommend that you go to your local Five Below or on the Five Below website, and you can get the kit there. I cannot show any of the instructions due to copyright. Or answer any instruction specifics, and also to protect yourself from getting in trouble, please try not to drop any instructions in the comments as well. If you need to speed up or slow down the video, click on the gear button in the corner. There's playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me talk, go ahead and lower the volume on your device, and then there's a CC closed caption button. Alright, let's go straight into this. So we're making 2 of these, and I'm going to do the second one off camera, and we're gonna do the magic ring. So this is for righties. If you are a lefty, it's pretty much the same thing, you just reverse the hands. I'm originally a lefty, but I've done so many righties videos since the beginning of this whole journey here on YouTube that I'm not really comfortable doing lefty anymore. It's crazy. Anyway, so to make the magic ring, we're going to wrap this around your finger about 3 times. So we have a little bit of overage here so that we can take our middle finger and just plop that down like that. Then you can take this opportunity to straighten out your 3 strands here. Make them a little tighter if they're loose. And then we're going to slip our hook underneath each one of these 3 strands. So we're going to pull it back out, but we're going to hook this strand here, and we're going to pull it underneath these 2. So go ahead and hook it. Turn your hook to the side so that you don't hook the other 2 while you're dragging it underneath. Like that. From here, we're going to yarn over, and you're going to put your hook just under the feeder yarn, so it's over the hook, yarn over. Then we're going to pull this through the loop, and then we can let go of our middle finger and slip this off of our index. Alright, so from here we're going to do round 1, and for round 1 we're going to be doing single crochet stitches. So I'm going to show you how to do 3 of these step by step. So to do this single crochet stitch, we're going to stick our hook into these magic rings. Then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull up a loop through the magic ring. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over again, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. And that is pretty much a single crochet stitch. On top of the stitch, you have a stitch on this side and a stitch on this side. When you look at it this way, directly in front of your project, this loop is the front loop, and then this loop is the back loop. So let's do this again. Stick your hook into the magic ring. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull up a loop so that you have 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. Okay, again, we have 2 loops, one here, one here. If you're looking down on the front of your project, this is the front loop, and this is the back loop. So one more time with you guys. So stick your hook into the magic ring. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull up a loop, then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So now we have 3 single crochet stitches. This is the front loop and this is the back loop. Alright, so from here I'm just going to finish the number of single crochet stitches that round 1 requires. You can rewind this part of the video as many times as you need until you're confident to do the single crochet stitches on your own. And then I'm going to come back in and we're going to do the next round. Alright, so after we've done all the single crochet stitches required for round 1, then we have to close the magic ring. So what I'm going to do is take my hand and I'm going to put it over my hook like this. We're going to hold the bottom part of these stitches with my thumb and index finger. You can take this feeder yarn and hold it off to the side. You can use your middle finger to just hold it back for now. But what I want to do is grab this excess piece here. So we have 2 loops that we have to make to go into the magic ring. So this is a magic ring because it starts out as a huge hole and then we close it to where there's none. So to do that, we're going to pull this excess piece here. We're going to keep track of which loop goes inside the magic ring first. So once you've pulled this excess piece and you start seeing a loop move, stop pulling, and then we're going to work with that loop first. Okay, so I want to pull this excess piece, and then I see that this loop is moving in first. What we're going to do is pull this lower part of that loop out. You don't want to pull it on top of here, just this side of that loop. So this one was the one that was moving. I'm going to pull the lower half out, and as I'm doing that, you're going to notice that the other loop is going to start going inside the magic ring, and that's what we want. You want to keep pulling that until that other loop is completely inside the magic ring. Alright, so once that's completely gone in there, then what we're going to do is grab the excess piece and we're going to pull on this one until this loop disappears. So let's pull that now and pull it until it's completely gone into the magic ring. At this point, you may or may not have the tiniest hole here. What you want to do, just to make sure you get every little bit out, you want to pull in the opposite direction and 45 degrees up. And you're going to feel a little pull. It might not be a huge pull, but you'll feel a little one. Don't pull it too hard. There's no need for that. You just want to make sure that the hole is now completely closed. So from here, this is not included in your kit, but I talk about these all the time, and I highly recommend that you go to a hobby store or online and purchase yourself a pack of these. I think you could buy like a lot of them for a couple of dollars. I'm not sure. These are all the ones that I've collected from all the crochet kits that had them. So I just happened to keep them all. So what you're going to do is take your stitch marker and we're going to place it just under the last stitch we made. We're going to place it under that front and back loop. So you want to stick that little marker right underneath that stitch, underneath the front and back loops. If you pull it out like this, you'll be able to see a nice clear hole, and if it is done right, it should be clear. If you accidentally pierced your yarn, you're going to see it right away. In this case we didn't, so let's just close the stitch marker, and then we're going to start on round 2. So let's talk about it. Round 2 is actually a multiple round instruction. The instruction is going to be same for every single row that it's numbered. So there's 10 rounds. So this one is 2. Let's count 10 rounds. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But this is, so there's 10 rounds, but this is round 2. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So to clarify the confusion, these stitch markers count as the round that you're on, but the brackets at the end of the instructions is the number of rounds we're doing. So they try to kind of help you out by saying, oh, we're going to be doing the same thing 10 times. So if you read it that way, or you can say this is for round 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can do it that way. All right, so we're gonna do single crochet stitches all the way around, and I did show you how to do 3 in a magic ring, but I didn't show you yet how to do a single crochet stitch in an actual stitch. So let's do that. All right, so after the first round, it does get a little tough to see where you're putting your hook in, because we scrunched everything up by pulling on the magic ring. So what you want to do is, from the marker or from the hook, count the number of stitches that was required for round 1. And once you made that count, stick your hook into that last stitch, and that's where you need to put your hook. And after, like I said, after the first round, it might be a little difficult because we squished everything. So you really just want to try to get those front and back loops of that stitch over this hook. You don't want to accidentally pierce the yarn. Okay. So after you stick your hook into that last stitch there, we're going to do a single crochet stitch. So you yarn over, you're going to pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops, then you're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Again, stick your hook into the next stitch. This one should be easier to find. Yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Then you're going to stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So from here you can rewind this part as many times as you need to complete the rest of the single crochet stitches, but I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. And I'm just gonna like stop at the end of this round to show you where to put the marker again, and then I'm gonna do the rest in silence. And you can tell where is the last stitch because we have our stitch marker right on the last stitch. So you can put in your hook with the stitch marker if you want, and then remove it later. Right, once you make your last stitch, you can remove the marker, and we're just going to place it under the last stitch we just made. So we're pretty much just replacing the stitch marker into the last stitch of the new round that's been completed. All right, so again, I'm going to do this the rest bit of it. Oh no, I'm going to minus one of these markers because it defeats the purpose if you don't leave it on there. I could just stick it back in. Yeah, I'll just stick this back in here. If you have the markers, just stick that back into the previous last stitch, the last stitch of the previous round. The point is to keep them on there so you can count. This one was 2, this one was 3. But as long as you used all of them up, you know that you've done all the 10 rounds that was asked. Alright, so I'm going to complete the rest on my own. It's pretty straightforward. At some point your project is going to start curling, and this is like the worst because it's so tiny. But once it gets to a point where it needs to be flipped inside out, I'll do that, because right now this is the right side and this side is the wrong side, and you can tell it's the wrong side because this is the side that has the excess piece from the magic ring. So Alright, let's do this in silence.
We don't need another speech, Thaisa. We need to sleep. I'll take the first watch tonight. Let me do it. We should all rest.
You know what I love about fentanyl? It's legal, but deadly. And when someone dies from it, they just assume that it's an overdose. Want one?
I don't like chocolate.
Everyone loves chocolate. Especially your dad. Eddie, right? He lives at the Cliffs Dwelling Retirement Home in Florida. Is this the correct address? 1022 Pine Street. I'm pretty sure it is. I spoke to your father's nurse, Dolores. Very pleasant. Kind of dim, but nice. Anyway, we got to talking. I used a fake name, obviously. And she promised to personally see to it that your dad gets his favorite dessert from his favorite daughter.
Okay. I was at Travis's house before he was killed. But he wouldn't talk to me. I bought him a nice bottle of whiskey to loosen him up, but it didn't work. I went home after that. But like you, after I heard about his death, I was suspicious. I wanted to know more.
Tell me you're done. Post office opens at 8:30.
Travis's bank account was closed right after he died. Meaning someone other than him emptied his account. Whoever has that money probably killed Travis.
Fuck! Wake up, wake up! We fell asleep. Fuck. I think Jeff is home. The window. You gotta go out the window. Oh no, fuck! The screen is rusted shut. The closet.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Sorry, babe. I did not mean to wake you.
It's okay. You just getting back from the store now?
Yeah. We had a delivery coming really early, so I just figured, smartest thing to do was just stay.
Sure. Yeah, don't worry about it. Just leave it on the bed. The hamper is in the laundry room.
All right. How was your night?
Boring. Callie slept at Alana's, and I just made myself some soup.
Okay, good. You know what? I'm just gonna take a shower and wake up a little bit here.
Do you want some breakfast? I could make us some eggs.
That sounds good. Thanks, babe. my gun. Jesus fucking Christ. Nellie, what did you do?
I robbed a liquor store.
The fuck?
Just kidding. I went out to get some smokes. I took it with me for protection. And I sat in this park and just fucking around with it, and then it accidentally just went off. But don't worry, nobody got hurt. It went in the dirt.
Every round I have to account for. Did you realize that?
You know?
No, of course you don't. Fuck. Where in the park did it go off? You're gonna have to show me.
I don't remember.
Well, you were on a bench, right? You don't remember which?
No.
Were you high?
No. I actually wasn't.
Well, then why can't you fucking remember? You know what? No. Okay? I'm not sure I believe you. I'm not sure it even matters. Just please tell me honestly, did you commit a crime?
No.
Fuck. You know what? I really thought that we had something, okay? And I thought this was...
Real?
Yes, I thought it was fucking real. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, I hate to break it to you, but we were just fucking. And your whole high school crush on me was really cute, but now it's just pathetic.
Fuck you.
Boyfriend?
Yeah, I did. Paul. He's a writer. He actually wanted me to move into the city with him. You know, really be with him.
okay, baby?
You're afraid you'd have nothing left.
Are you alright? Yeah, Mama, I'm just hungry. You're always hungry, buddy.
You don't think that Travis is gay, you? We tried to, you know, and he couldn't be close.
Oh. Right, yeah. Well, just so you know, that's not, it's not exactly unheard of. Guessing that he just got nervous, you know, up in his head. Trust me, Matt, I've seen the way that kid looks at you. He's in pretty deep.
Alright, so I completed all the rounds and then we just have to finish off. It talks about doing an inverted magic ring, which is just closing it up. And I don't want to close it up yet. I'm just gonna, because I feel like it'll sew better if you leave it open. If you close it, you know, you're gonna have to figure out how you're gonna attach it onto the body. So I'm just gonna leave it open, but I am going to give myself a decent amount of sewing yarn. So what I do is like to wrap, go around the perimeter of the hole twice, like a generous sized perimeter around the hole. Okay, we're going to cut this off and then we're going to fasten it off. So to fasten this off, we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through the loop all the way out, and then we're going to pull on this excess piece and you're going to watch that loop tighten around the yarn. And then we're going to go and you can remove these stitch markers. So now we're going to start the hair, and just looking at the box, it looks a bit complicated. So I really hope that it just looks complicated and really isn't. But at the same time, I really hope it doesn't take forever. I think we did the hair for, was it Chucky? And that took forever. But set this aside for now. Again, I made my second arm off camera, so we're good to go there. And I'm going to swap out my skin tone colored yarn for the cream colored yarn. Okay, so here's my cream colored yarn. I like to get spools like this because there's opportunity to find a better way to get this. So this is the end of the yarn and it's easily found outside the yarn. The only thing is when you pull on it, your yarn is going to roll around and that's no fun. So what I'm going to try to do is go on the inside. So this is like a really fat round spool. It's flat too. But if you look closely, you can see the center of this spool. What I like to do is get in there, and this may be sloppy. We'll find out, but you want to find the other end. So, sometimes you can find, ooh, I magically found it. Okay, so that's good. So we can pull this. And all we have to do is put a paperweight down and keep pulling, and it doesn't roll around. So I'm just gonna slip this. I have a little lamp. Nothing fancy over here. Alright. So now we have our cream colored yarn, and we're gonna do the hair. So we're going to do another magic ring. So let me show you how to do that. Again, we're going to wrap around our finger 3 times with a little bit of overage to put our middle finger right on top like that. Then you can straighten out your strands, tighten them up if they're a little loose. We're going to take our hook and just put it underneath the 3 strands like this. We're going to pull our hook back out, but we're going to pull this strand underneath these 2. So hook that strand, turn your hook sideways so that you can slip it underneath the other 2 strands. And then we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull that through the loop. And then we're going to let go of the middle finger and off the index. All right, so that was my alarm to feed the kiddos dinner. We're going to come back and I'm going to do these single crochet stitches. All right, he's fed. He's happy. He's fed. Let's go. So I'm going to be doing my single crochet stitches in the magic ring. So just to make sure you know how to do these in the magic ring, I'm going to do 3 with you. Stick your hook into the magic rings. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop to have 2 loops on your hook. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So we have our first single crochet stitch. Stick your hook into the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So now we have 2 single crochet stitches. One more time with you guys. Put your hook into the magic rings, yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So now we have 3 single crochet stitches. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of the single crochet stitches, and then we're going to go into round 2, which introduces a new stitch for this video. Alright, so once you've completed your stitches, you want to overhand your hook. We're going to hold our stitches down here at the bottom. Don't hold it too tightly or else you won't be able to pull these. But you want to pull the excess piece and you're going to find that one of these 2 loops are going to go in. So what you want to do is just pull until you see one move, and then we're going to stop pulling. Alright, so I noticed this one right away went in first, so I'm going to pull this lower half out, and then we're going to watch the other loop go in. Keep pulling that lower half out until you see that loop completely disappear into the magic ring. Then we got to make this loop disappear into the magic ring, so we're going to pull on this excess piece and then that one's going to go in. And just to make sure that we pull all of it out, because there's a little hole still left in there, I'm going to take the excess piece, pull in the opposite direction a little up, and I'm going to feel it move just a little bit. You don't have to go too crazy. But now we can take our stitch marker and put it under the last stitch we made and make sure that it clears. Okay, and then we're going to close this up and we're going to start round 2. So for round 2, we are introducing a new stitch, at least for this video. We've done a ton of them in video 1 and 2. So now for video 3, we're going to learn how to do an increasing stitch. So let me just gather up some yarn here. Again, the first round's always going to be a little tight, but from the hook, count the number of stitches required for round 1, and then you're going to stick your hook into that last stitch, and you really need to kind of fish through it. Use your fingernails if you have to lift up that front and back loop over your hook, and then we're going to do an increasing stitch. So in this stitch we're basically going to do 2 single crochet stitches, and that's what is an increasing stitch. So let's do 1, okay, and then we're going to stick our hook back into that same stitch and we're going to do a second one. Okay, so if we look very closely, we have this 1 stitch here, but it made 2 single crochet stitches. Let's do this again. Stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to be putting 2 single crochet stitches in here. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then stick your hook back into that same stitch, and it should be easier this time. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So if we look closely, we have that 1 stitch, and out comes 2 single crochet stitches. Let's do this one more time with you guys. Stick your hook into the next stitch. In this stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches. Here's 1. Stick your hook back into that same stitch. We're going to do 1 more. 2. Okay. So from here, I'm going to repeat the increasing stitches until we're finished the round. You can rewind this video as many times as you need until you're comfortable making these increasing stitches yourself, or by yourself. And I have some tea with me. It's pretty late and my voice normally gets crackly at night, but there's nothing like some nice hot tea at night. Usually helps me, like, you know, just calm my day down. I put in a good, I don't know, I've been working overtime and then filming this whole week, so it gets a little tiring, but tea always soothes it a little bit. Alright, I'm going to remove this marker and then I'm going to stick it under the last stitch we made. Make sure that you clear your stitch and that it's not piercing. I think it's piercing. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to do round 3. So for round 3, we have a new situation going on here. We have a set of instructions inside parentheses. So what that means is we're going to do the instructions inside the parentheses, and there's an X and a number. We have to do it that many times. So in the end, you'll see that there's brackets with a number. That number is going to be the stitch count. So we're pretty much going to be alternating single crochet stitches with increasing stitches. So let's go around and do that, since we know how to do both stitches. Okay. And this one is pretty straightforward because it's all the way around, so you don't really have to count it. But if you end not at one of those increasing stitches and you end with a single crochet stitch somewhere, then you probably missed something. So but in the end, you can always, and I encourage you guys to count the number of stitches that you need after each round. It's easier and quicker to catch any mistakes that you might make. Okay, and then after this, I am just gonna quickly count my stitches. But I'm actually going to just replace this marker as well. I don't know, force of habit, but hopefully I won't need to dial back because I missed something. Hopefully my counts are correct. Make sure that it is piercing. You just want to make sure, get into the habit with your stitch marker and your hook to make clear pokes into your stitches, because it'll leave for a clean project, and let's say you have to go back and unravel it, it'll be very easy for you to unravel. All right, let me just quickly count this. All right. So, ooh, there's a bit of text here. All right. So, from this point on, it's going to be like a toupee. We're going to make hair strands for each stitch on here. And I guess it's just going to drape down. So this could look cute. It could look horrible. We'll find out. But that's what we're going to be doing from here on out. So for round 4, we got to do a lot of chain stitches. Okay. And then we're going to do a heck of a lot more after. It's going to seem like a lot. But one of my tips is when you read example round 4, we're going to take it in sections. So I won't read you the whole thing at once. I don't want to scare anybody. But the first part, we're just doing chains, and that's all we should focus on. You can read ahead, like sometimes if you change color, you should read ahead, but we all know this is going to be the same, so let's just take it by section. So, in case I didn't show you already, we're going to do one of the simplest basic stitches in crocheting, which is the chain stitch. And to do that, you're going to yarn over and we're going to pull the strand through the loop. Just like that. And that's it. So it's just this little braid here. So each chain makes up of 3 loops. We have one here, one on the other side. If you flip it on its side, you can see there's a back loop right here. So each chain stitch is made up of 3 loops. Alright, so let's do another one. Yarn over, pull through the loop, and there you have it again. 1, 2, turn on its side, 3 in the back. Alright, let's do one more. Yarn over and pull through the loop. So now we have this braid situation like we do with all of our stitches. This just happens to be a chain stitch, and you turn it on its side, you can see that back hump, and I'm showing you the anatomy of this stitch in particular because when we start doing the next parts, you really want to know where you're going to put your hook into, because thus far we've been just going in here, which seems pretty straightforward, but now we got to work with 3 loops, and it's like, oh, how are we going to do that? Alright, so from here on out, you can rewind the video as many times as you need till you're comfortable making these these chain stitches on your own. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the number of chains required for this strand. And this is a great way to practice making your stitches uniform. You're using one of the basic stitches so you can practice on making them equal by size. And you know, sometimes it's not the same size. Like I have some loose ones here. When you're a beginner, it's definitely not going to be all the same size. But the more you do these, for example, the first strand, it might look like a hot mess. By the time you go all the way around and you do your last strand, that's probably going to look really nice compared to the first one. So let me finish this. Wow, this is a lot. Okay. So from here, let's move on to the next section before the next comma. So, oh, it just says second chain from hook. So the reason why we do that is it kind of is marking the height of the next row. So chain stitches is what you start out with, and then rows are what you make after, typically when you do chain stitches. So they're talking about going into the second chain from the hook. So here's one, here's two. So we're not going to stick our hook into this first stitch, we're going to stick it into the second one. And that's because when we start crocheting, if we turn this to a 90-degree angle, it's going to create the height of the next row. So this is how thick the strand is going to be, in case you're wondering. But for the next part now, since we know where we're going to put our hook into, we have a set of parentheses. And as I told you, the parentheses are a set of instructions that we're going to be repeating the number of times that it tells you to. So let's just focus on this set of parentheses first. All right. So I'm going to now teach you how to do a half double crochet stitch, HDC. So half double crochet stitches are one of my favorite stitches, so hopefully I'll be able to show you how to do this well. So to do a half double crochet stitch, we're going to yarn over, and then again from second chain from the hook, 1, 2, we're going to stick our hook in there, but we have the 3 loops as I told you for each chain, this loop, and the back loop. What you want to do is what I like to do, put in your hook into the back loop. So after you yarn over, stick your hook into the second chain from the hook. I'm turning my chains on its side so you can see that back hump right there. I want to stick my hook into that back hump. Make sure you don't split the yarn or anything. You just want to slip it through the back, and that's because when you're done crocheting the row, you're still going to have this pretty braid underneath, untouched. So once you stick your hook into that back loop, we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook again. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops, and that is a half double crochet stitch. It's a lot kind of thicker than the single crochet stitch. It's a little bit higher too, but like I said, you have that braid on the bottom and now you have a braid on the top, and it's rounded off too, so it looks like a nice strand. All right, so let me show you how to do the next stitch. This is going to be an increasing stitch, but this time we're increasing with a half double crochet stitch. So previously we were increasing with single crochet stitches. This time it's telling you to do a half double crochet increasing stitch. So to do that, it's the same idea as the other increasing stitch that we did. We're going to yarn over and you're going to stick your hook into the next stitch, and we're going to stick it into the back loop right there. Okay, and then in this loop we're going to do 2 half double crochet stitches. So that's going to be an increasing half double crochet stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Right, we're gonna go back into the same hole, so yarn over, put your hook into that same hole that we used. We're gonna yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So if you look closely, we have that 1 stitch and we have 2 half double crochet stitches coming out of it. Here's the tops of that stitch, and then here's the bottom, just that 1 little stitch there. All right, so now in these parentheses, we're pretty much going to alternate these 2 stitches. So let's go back to our half double crochet stitch. We're going to yarn over and you're going to put your hook into the next stitch in that back hump. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. All right, and then we're alternating with a half double crochet increasing stitch. So yarn over, put your hook into the next stitch, back loop, and then we're going to put 2 half double crochet stitches in here. Just want to make sure that you're not splitting any yarns. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and then we're going to yarn over and stick your hook into that same stitch again. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So let's do this parenthesis one more time, you guys. So we're going to do our single crochet stitch into the, we're going to do our half double crochet stitch in the next stitch. Right, and then we're going to do our increasing half double crochet stitch. 1 and 2. All right. So from here on out, we are just going to continue alternating these 2 stitches. Let's read what it says next. All right, so I'm going to do this the number of times that it calls for. So let's do that. Hold on a sec. Just gathering up some yarn here. Okay. Make sure you're not splitting any yarn here. All right. So after we did that number of times for the parentheses, we now have to do just regular half double crochet stitches. So let's do that now. Okay, so once you complete the half double crochet stitches, they're asking you to do, we're going to do a new stitch that I'll show you how to do into the next stitch to attach it. All right, so let us show you what that is. All right, so we're going to go into the next stitch here. We're going to do a slip stitch. That's another basic stitch in crocheting. So put your hook into the next stitch now on this round. To do a slip stitch, we're going to yarn over and we're just going to pull through all the loops off the hook. And that's it. That's a slip stitch. Okay. So now there's more to this. All right. It actually afterwards it explains to you what an HDC increasing stitch means, and I already showed you, so we're good on that. And then we just have to repeat this whole thing around this circle here. So it's going to be a lot and it's going to be crazy, but it might look cute. So just so that it's not too cumbersome of a video right now, I'm gonna allow you to just rewind the video as many times as you need until you're confident into making this on your own. But what I'm gonna do in silence is I'm going to do this. Now I'm trying to keep this down to a 2-hour video. You know, just by request, I like to show everything that I do from start to finish, so there is no question of, oh, where did you go? But I am going to do a dead stop because we still have to do the crown and the assembly. So I may stop. If this takes me an hour, I'm probably going to stop it. And then when we come back in, we're going to start the crown. Or at least show you how to fasten it off. Yeah, because we can't have a super long video. And when I did Chucky's hair, I think it took a long time, and this is a lot longer than that. All right, so I'm going to do the rest in silence. Alright, so I wasn't able to do all of this. I ran out of yarn, but what I did was I shortened the last strand. So I had just enough to do all these other ones, but this one I made a little shorter because, yeah, I just didn't have enough. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to finish off. So I do have the little bit here. I don't even know if you need enough to sew this all on, so hopefully whatever I have left will work. So I'm just gonna go back into the last stitch again, or yeah, and then we're gonna do a slip stitch to secure that strand to that circle, and then we're gonna yarn over, and you're gonna pull that through the loop all the way out. And we're gonna pull on this so that it tightens up that loop. We can remove our marker, and then we're good to go on this. She's got some head of hair. It's pretty hefty too, so I don't know. But anyway, it says to hide the yarn. We'll deal with this later because I don't know if we're gonna need something to sew this onto the head. And I would prefer it to be this color as opposed to the skin tone color, because if it comes up through the hair and you see the skin tone color, she might look like she's patchy. Anyway, so let's do the crown. We're going to take out our packet and we're going to pull out the gray yarn now. And hopefully this is enough for what we're doing. You just have to unravel. I'm not good at these things. Does that work? Nope. Alright, here we go. Alright, in this case, I mean, you can try splitting it and then grab the other end. I just don't think this is going to be a struggle no matter what we do. Okay, not too bad. Alright, so for this we're going to be doing some chains. So I get to show you again how to cast on with a slip knot. So we are going to take our ring, pinky, and thumb, and then the index and ring finger, and hold apart our yarn like this. Alright, and then I'm going to take my hook and lie it perpendicular to the yarn. We're going to go down, out, and around to create this loop around your hook. You could slide the hook up and down the yarn. We're going to want to slide it down towards the thumb. Then take your middle finger on your right hand and just hold it where it crosses so that we can let go of our left and gather up some feeder yarn. And once we're here, you can re-pinch the end, and we're going to continue to slide the hook closer to your thumb, and where it crosses, just pinch it so that your hook can no longer slide up or down. From here, we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull this through the loop, and then I'm going to overhand my hook, re-pinch the end, and we're going to push this knot towards your thumb. This is going to tighten your knot, and then you can stop if the knot is no longer moving or if it's already close to your thumb. At this point, you could take your thumb and middle finger and pull out this excess piece a little bit to make that knot nice and snug. And then we're going to slide our knot towards our hook. And then we're going to start with our first bit of instructions. All right, so let's do our chains. Then it says that we have to join the first chain with the end using a slip stitch. So I'm going to go back here and we're going to stick our hook into the first chain, but I'm going to do the back loop only right here. And then we're going to do a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through all loops off the hook. So we've joined this. All right. All right, this next part, I think we're going to be using the top of the chains here. So we're not going to be using the back loop only for this one. What I'm going to do real quick is just mark the last top loop of this chain here, just so that I know. We're going to continue doing the amigurumi. It just said spiral, but it's the same thing kind of. So we're just going to spiral up, and I just want to mark off like we would with the other parts of the project. All right, so now we just have to do a single crochet stitches. So let's do that, and we're going to use the top. So in this case, like I said, this is the front loop, this is the back loop. They're calling this the top. They said top of this base of chains. So stick your hook into that, like that, and do your single crochet stitch. Again, stick your hook into the top. And this is how you normally do it. I have you go in from the back hump because it leaves that nice border. This one here is going to leave those loops on the bottom, like that edge of the crown. So just keep putting your hook into the top or back loop of these chains all the way around. Okay, it's going to curl in, make sure it curls out. All right. And then we're going to do another round. And then after that you can go normal, stick them in both loops. Unless it doesn't, let me just double check. And it's too small to see anyway, but yeah. Just count backwards for the count because it's really hard to see since we're spiraling up. Okay. All right, for the next part, we're going to be doing the spikes on the crown. And let me just read this real quick because it's so confusing. Hold on. All right. So we have a set of parentheses, and we got to repeat that a bunch of times, but this is a long parenthesis. So in this parenthesis, let's take these by sections. So first we're going to do the first part here. Okay, and then the next, we've got to do some chains. And then we have to do a slip stitch. And then we have to do a slip stitch back onto this base here. Okay. Or was it? Oh my gosh. All right. Well, let's find out. So then we have to just repeat this. So let's do the first part. Then we do our chains. Then we have a slip stitch on the chain. And then a slip stitch onto the stitch on the base. All right. Not much of a point there, but I guess I can see it. All right, so then we're going to do the parenthesis again. Do your chains. Slip stitch on the chain. And then slip stitch on the stitch of the base of the crown. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat this all the way around. All right. So from here, we're going to finish off, but we have to sew this onto the head. So I'm going to make sure that I have enough yarn, even though it says, oh, doesn't say much, but anyway. Whoa. So I'm going to go twice around the perimeter, generously. Cut this off. And then we're going to yarn over. We're going to pull through the loop all the way out. Tighten up that loop there. Now we want to sew the bottom part, not the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave this down into the base. So just go in row by row and just pull that piece till you get to the bottom, and then later on it'll already be near the base for you to sew the crown onto the head. All right, so now we have the assembly, you guys. Are we excited? All right. So it's telling you that we have to embroider on the waist of the dress. And if you look at the photo, it kind of looks not embroidered, it looks crocheted on. So this is what I'm going to do. Set this piece aside. Let's cast on with the slip knot, because I really don't know how to embroider. It looks like a braid. So I'm going to cast on with the slip knot. And let's start in the back. Where that line is, we're just going to do some slip knots all the way around. Oops. So when you grab around these stitches, make sure you grab the 2 loops. Let me just start here then. Oh, I guess that was okay. All right. So I stuck my hook around a stitch around that waist, and we're just going to do slip stitches. So yarn over and pull through all loops off the hook. And we're going to do this all the way around until we get back to the other side. This is going to form that chain looking thing that's in the photo, that's in the box. See how it's creating that chain stuff? So we're just doing slip stitches all the way around. And I don't know if this is what they meant you to do, but this is what it looks like they're doing. It's really hard to see where these stitches are. All right, once you're all the way around, you can cut this off about 1 inch or so. Yarn over and pull through the loop all the way out. Tighten it up. You can trim some of this. I don't even know what this is. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up from one side of my project, come out the other, right where this yarn is. We're going to yarn over. We're going to pull through and drag it into the project. Okay, if you have to go back in and grab some more, do that. But we're pretty much just dragging this into your project. Like that. And then if you're having problems removing your hook, just push it through any random side and pull it out. Alright. Oh, maybe I should have done this in the front and made a little flower. Anyway, so we did the waist part of the dress. Okay. Oh, if I read further, the second sentence tells you how to do it. Oh, well, we just did it this way. Same achieved goal at the end. Wow, that was a lot of instruction for just the waist. So, simplified, yay! All right, next parts, we have to sew the arms to the body. So we've got our arms that we've made here. And we're going to take our needle and thread up the eyelet. Right, then I'm going to take a look at the photo in the box. Looks like it's just around the neck area. And you want to take a look at these arms and where the little tail pieces are. This looks like this might want to belong on this side. And maybe this one will go on this side. But this way. All right. So just make sure you kind of got it on the side. And again, it looks like it's on the strip here. So use that. But I'm going to just sew around some stitches. And I'm using the stitches from the arm to match up with that. Okay, and then I'm going to do the underside and get these stitches on the other side. And I just, you know, the instructions had you close it, but I feel like when you attach it, you're gonna see that line, and I think when you do it this way, you can meld the stitches together to the body, so there won't be such a harsh crease to where you attached it. Then once you're all the way around, You can just take a quick look at the arm. I mean, it looks like she's trying to spread her wings and fly. You can sew it to her body so that it stays down. It's all preference, I think. So maybe I'll just take, you know, this spot here on her dress, and then take her arm so that way it stays down towards the dress. And then I'm going to find my moment here to tie my knot. And then I'm going to stick my needle into a spot on one side and make it come out a random spot on the other side. Then we're just going to cut this flush to the body. And then you can just squish it to make it disappear. And so now we have our first arm, and see, like, it's down, it's not flapping her wing out there. And then we're going to do the other arm. All right. Then you want to try to make sure that this is kind of even Steven to the other arm. And then again, we're going to try to place this directly on the side, and we're going to use the stitches to, I'm going to have to be a righty. See, I'm like normally a lefty, but just to make everything, it seems like everything's flowing in this direction, so it's good to be ambidextrous at this point. And then same thing here. All right. Kind of put this one a little farther back than this one. So it looks like she's kind of leaning forward with her shoulder there. But anyway, next. All right, so now we have to put some stars onto the dress. And then they have you doing the eyebrows and the lashes, but we already did that. Oh my goodness, for the hair they want you to glue it or sew it. We're gonna sew it. All right, but let's do the stars. So it says that you can separate. Here I think you can sew, so we're gonna do that. I'm gonna cut a bit of yarn here, so I don't know, I just got like this much really, and it says you can split it to make it thinner, which I am gonna do. So each strand is gonna make me a star, and I do dabble in a little bit of cross stitching, so I'm definitely not a sewer, but if it's cross stitching I think I'm all right. And plus I'm used to splitting cross stitching thread like this, so but this is much curlier than the cross stitch thread, or embroidery floss as they call it. But I'm gonna split this. Maybe I didn't have to cut this so long, because I can probably get a few stars out of this one little strand here. All right, then we're going to thread this up, and my idea, since I'm not a sewer, is I'm going to draw a star with the needle. That's how I see it. So let's start here. I mean, if you really want to get meticulous, you can create your own pattern. I'm just going to do some random stars. Okay, come up from underneath into some random spot here. I'm going to make sure I have enough to tie. Okay. Then you're going to do your 5-pointed star like you normally would on a piece of paper, except you are doing it with needle. So what I do is you just go through one row here to do your little angles. And I don't know a better way to explain this. Let's see if it even turns out to be a star. Does it look like a star? Not really. We might just can all this thing all together. Maybe it doesn't need stars. Alright, so you know what? I don't like it. It looks silly in the photo anyway, so what we're going to do is undo it. I'm going to cut this here, And to undo it, you just start picking at the gray. If you can remember the pattern that you used to get in and out with the gray, that'd be helpful. But I don't remember that, so I'm just gonna pull it and hope for the best. But yeah, that was a fail. Comment below, let me know if you were able to do the stars. But you know what? I think what we're gonna do though, or should we do like a, I feel like it needs like a border. We're just gonna leave it plain Jane. You could do this slip stitch at the bottom here to make a nice band, but I'm just gonna leave it. This was a fail. It looks fine on its own, really. Alright, so now we have to attach the hair. So this we can tuck inside here, and then this I'm going to use to sew the whole thing to the head. But first we have to figure out how we're going to lay this out. So we could put this up here. But we have to make sure we get the forehead right. Let's see. Would it be easier just to count 4 rows for a forehead? 1, 2, 3, 4, and just attach it here? Yeah, let's just do that. And then because this one just happened to be smaller than the rest, this could be like a bang. So have this off to the side like that. And just sew this on there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can just go in and out. I want to go through the top and then back to get down to the bottom. think I'm back all the way around. So once we've gotten here, I'm going to find my moment to tie my knot. Okay, then I'm going to stick my needle into one side of my project and out the other randomly. Then we're going to cut this flush, squeeze it. Now we have our hair attached. You can situate this in a way where she doesn't look like it's a hot mess. I don't even know where that short one went. I don't even know. All right, here's her hair. Cute. All right, so now we just have to put on the crown. All right, so let's place the crown. Let's look for like the most, the prettiest side of the crown. I'm going to stick this right on top in the center of the head here. And she's just so tall, I can't even fit her in film. We're just going to go around the stitches. And I'm going to utilize the crown to anchor to the hair. I'm going to try not to ruin that edge, because we made that nice edge, even though you're not going to see it, but I just really want to. We could work from the inside. Let's do that. It's going to be a little hard to see, but so we're looking down in here. You can kind of see where you could put your needle. I'm going to work that way, hopefully, so that I don't ruin the edging. Plus, you won't really see inside this crown, so that might be the easier way to go. Okay, and then once we are all the way around, we can tie our knot. And then I'm going to go back in one side of the project, come out the other randomly. And we're going to cut this. Squeeze that. And that is it, you guys. We have Glinda. Glinda, Glinda, Glinda. This is stinking cute. So overall, I did run out of the cream color for her hair, but she has so much of it, it wasn't that big of a deal. She looks super ultra cute. Comment below, let me know how it went. I'm really so glad, so glad. You have no idea how so glad the instructions were on this. If you had a look at the Halloween ones, the Mike Myers, Chucky, Pennywise, Jason, those were a nightmare because the material wasn't enough and or the instructions were a hot mess. So I'm hoping that Elphaba is going to be just as good as this Glinda instruction was. So happy Wicked Part 2, you guys. I hope you like the movie. I mean, I don't go to theater anymore. I'm just gonna go wait for it to stream. So, you know, I am not too worried about spoiler alerts because I'll forget. But yeah, comment below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.